Well, all right. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Holy cow. It's going to tip.
No,
This is like a little contraption that you did this morning for us. Rigging it up. I like it. Good morning. How was your weekend? Did you have a relaxing time? Did you recharge your batteries? Yesterday I did something. Well, we'll talk about our weekend, but just to recharge yesterday, one of my practices is dance, because I just feel like it's the best way for me to just get out of my head, right? I spend the whole, like planning and strategizing and doing all that. And of course we're in our hearts while we're working, but anyway, dance is just so therapeutic for me. It's one of those things that I just totally unleash. It's like a spiritual practice. So I go to this place called Star Studios in Lake Worth, shout out to them. And it's called Dance Church on Sundays. And I just dance like a freak, oh God, it's so good. It's so good.
Much better now.
I'm feeling so much better now. Yeah, exactly. So good morning. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Bernadette. Good morning, Carol. We hope that you're off to a great start on your week.
I realized when I was getting my coffee, it's like we're like Regis and Kathy Lee sitting. Wow, that's dating ourselves. Regis hasn't been on it. Whatever the Good Morning show. Yeah, like, hey, let's have some coffee in the morning.
Let's have some coffee talk. Actually, coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Remember Coffee Talk?
Coffee talk, yeah.
That was an annoying character. I didn't really love a lot of SNL characters.
Mike
Except for
Myers.
Chris Farley.
That was pretty good.
Chris Farley, where it's like, down by the river, he's a motivational speaker. I probably liked it because that's what we do.
Living in a van down by the river.
And most motivational speakers are living in a van down by the river, pretending to be successful. But you didn't hear it from me. Anyway, let's move on. So today is Momentum Monday. Notice that we didn't say Motivation Monday because motivation wears off.
Motivation is like the spark. Like we all.
Make my coffee.
Okay, we all need to have that. So, as you know, we use the analogy, or I use the analogy of us. We're all cars. Good morning, Jen. And that we're, what drives us is the fuel, is our emotional fuel. But motivation is oftentimes a little bit of a spark, right? But that doesn't mean that you need motivation necessarily, because you can't live on it. It's the spark. It gets a little going, but then you need the fuel. You need so much more information besides that. So just momentum is most important.
Just to light the spark this morning, we think of motivation. We think of what is your why this morning, why you're getting up this week. What is it that you want to accomplish this week, and why is it that you really want to make it happen? And it's really important to have the bigger picture, but a singular kind of focus for the week, whether that's one word, an intention for the entire week, a feeling you want to cultivate, a discipline you want to master, something that's going to help you turn your week really, because all life is a series of Mondays, right? A series of weeks that add up to this journey and this experience. And so what is the intention? And if you want the motivation for the what is it, or the why, you think about, all right, well, what pain am I avoiding if I go for this thing this week and make this my priority, or what pleasure will I have? And do both of those sides of the spectrum.
Well, and be sure that you're not distracting yourself to avoid pain. Like, what pain am I avoiding? And then the strategy, making sure the strategy is where you're going, like that they're connected, not one, like they've got to be sort of part of the same thread. Because some people like, well, I'm going for this, but I'm also distracting myself by avoiding the pain of whatever the thing is.
So I have an experience this week. I'm embarking on a new journey. I'm partnering with another company to kind of and go back to my roots a little bit, and an opportunity presented itself. And I have a little bit of fear and trepidation around it, even though I've mastered this particular strategy in the past. I'm helping somebody build a business here, and there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just that it's something new again, right? Getting back in and contracts and non-competes and all these different things that I had to do. And so my desire is to turn my fear into fuel, right? And let it propel me forward, and turn the fear into fascination, right? Or other F words that we can think of that will motivate us to keep going, because nothing has really happened yet. I'm just in initial phases. So I think of my why. Well, it's going to enrich our family. It's going to take us to a new place financially, turn my fear into financial gain, all
Might
of
be
these
just new contacts as well.
new contacts.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time, but none of us are, the goal isn't to eradicate these unwanted feelings. It's to find a way to transform
Use
them
them
into fuel and find a different way to
Yeah.
go about it. So how about you? What do you need to motivate yourself to do this week? Good morning, Justin. What is it that you're going after? What's important to you? What feeling do you want to master this week? What discipline? What intention?
And if there's something new that you would like to learn, what is something new that you want to experience, or something you've been putting off? That's maybe it's a book that you want to dive into, or it's a person that you want to meet, or an event that you want to go to. Maybe challenge yourself, say expand your horizon, because you never know what's going to come out of these new experiences.
A conversation that you want to have, that you've been putting off, that you want to have. So we had a great weekend this weekend. We had our event on Saturday.
Yeah, that's one of our things today.
So much fun.
Getting the date for the next one.
Already, and that's the thing. Like we were kind of like high-fiving each other and had such a great time because we were really but it's time again for the next one. We can't rest on our failures or our successes. Yesterday ended last night. Sunday was over yesterday. It's a brand new week, a brand new opportunity to move forward and make some more gains. But we had such a great time. And I think, I always know that you compliment me and that we have this synergy going. But I get annoyed by couples, though. I have to tell you, I really do. Like when couples are on Facebook and they're like, "Oh my God, you're the salt in my French fries," and "Oh, you're the syrup to my pancakes."
You're the
and
mayonnaise
it's just like,
for my
tuna. I don't know. It's so, to me, it's like, really, like, okay, we get it. You don't need, if you're speaking it too much, who you talking into it, right? It's kind of a little bit of that, right? It's like the people that have no money that are like taking pictures on yachts and making it rain with their watch and their rented car. Come on, give me a break.
And the rented watch.
We all know it ain't happening, right? And maybe it is happening. You're just really excited about it, but okay, whatever. So I'm not trying to be one of those couples, but I will tell you that I always appreciate your strengths. But you don't realize it until you're in a situation sometimes where you can really sit back as the observer and be a student of your love again, right? I always talk about being a student of yourself and being a student of the people that you're with, and don't think you know everything about everything and everybody, which was hard for me because
you know everything.
Do think I know a lot of things sometimes, right? I'm sure you can relate to that.
I wonder where Ellie gets that from.
Yeah, I don't need to go to school. I know
everything already.
Okay. Hey, James, good morning. So, we talk about this yin and yang, right? This combination, and we both have these energies within us, and this masculine and feminine energy. And we both have these energies within us, but we live in these spaces predominantly in our nature most of the time, right? And so at this event, the goal was to take these, the participants on an emotional journey, right? And the destination was just release, freedom, closer to their higher power, feeling like they can get out of their own way, just feeling inspired and motivated. And so it was like true representation this weekend of the fire and the rain. So it was like when it was my turn to work with the participants, it was like the moon energy, right? The water, it was like there was lots of tears and lots of reflecting and, different. So it was that moon, that kind of deep, dark energy, but beautiful, right? And then my husband would come and he would bring the fire or the sun, this light, bright, lifting kind of energy, and powerful. Both are powerful, but just in different ways. And so it was so beautiful to see the moon and the sun, the fire and the rain. And I just keep getting so much appreciation for when I realized, wow, yeah, that dynamic is so important. And even in your life, it's important to bring both of those natures.
You're the moon to my sun.
I know. So now here we are. You're the sun in my moon, and the moon in my sun. Okay, now that's out of the way. We love each other, and some people are just going to be like, "Oh my God, they're like motivational speakers, and they love each other." Like, I hate that. That's fine. I don't care. Maybe not. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning.
So then the question is for you, how can you create even more balance and of those energies in your life? Is there some environment you need to put yourself in that is going to surround yourself with that? Because that's the other thing that what we got out of the, out of yesterday, Saturday, and the events that we do is that tribe, that connection of that balance where when everybody shares and connects with each other, that they're lighting up or making more aware some other opportunities and ways to grow and transform and heal. And that's wonderful and amazing and so important that you have those resources.
Morning time. So what is it you're after this week? What do you need to remember about yourself in order to accomplish what it is you want to do this week? And if you don't have something specific, obviously we recommend just starting out the day every single morning with gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, baby.
I don't want my cereal.
Okay, you don't have to have it. You want to come up here? You want to come up?
I don't want to eat my cereal.
That's fine. You
Okay,
don't have
are you
to.
going to come up?
Do you want to come say hi to your friends?
Kids today.
So start out with some gratitude. What are you really grateful for last week? I'm grateful for that experience with my husband. I'm grateful for the lives that were transformed, that came to the event, that are now starting off. But like we said to them, it's like we have this feeling of motivation or inspiration, but then now we need to do perspiration and we need to get into whatever it is that we need to be doing. So what are, 5 things that you want to accomplish this week? And then if you notice, right, those 5 things that you write down, there'll be one theme of a character trait or a state that you need to embody in order to make all 5 of those things happen.
Yeah.
Do you need to have perseverance this week? Do you need to maintain boundaries this week? Do you need to be in a state of confidence this week? Do you need a state of acceptance this week? What is it that you need to cultivate more of? And try to move into your week with a sense of, yeah, I'm willing to cultivate that.
And then the other key to all that, as we shared earlier, the balance of the energies is you could also borrow other people's states, as it were. And one of the things that we talk about is surrounding yourself with people who are going to hold you to a higher standard, right? Surround yourself with people who their normal is what you aspire to. And then you will start picking up, oh, I see, they're really perseverant. Oh, I see, they've got this level of courage. I see, this is this level of confidence or this level of compassion or empathy or whatever it is that makes them so successful at whatever it is. It's not just about business or finances, but whatever it is, find somebody, maybe this week, maybe your goal is to find somebody who's maybe got something that you want to experience and surround yourself with them. Find a way to connect with them, spend time with them, learn from them, really be able to borrow their beliefs, borrow their energy. And then what you'll find is as you start applying those, you'll start getting those results and embody it yourself. And that will become your new normal.
I have, this new thing I'm tackling this week. I'm diving in today to really get started full steam ahead. And I need fuel to be able to do that. And so what do I want to fuel? My husband always talks about fueling as if your body was a car. What emotions do you want to fuel it with? And there's a little bit of apprehension that's involved in my, okay, I'm diving in. But if I say, okay, I'm an alchemist, I want to transform things in my life, right? What can I can take that apprehension and transform it into appreciation. And if I can do that by adding a little gratitude in there, right? Adding a little bit of courage, right, in there. And if I can put it in my cauldron and mix it around, then any feeling or emotion can be transformed, but you have to know what ingredients to put in order to make it happen. So if I stay in a state for me of appreciation, gratitude, and anticipation, apprehension into anticipation, there's a very different, both kind of have the same vibes, right? Both are make you feel a little nervous, but if I'm focused on, all right, just saying an appreciation and anticipation, right? That's what I need to talk to myself about so that I have the courage that I need to keep going forward and exploring these new avenues. Some of you today are going into situations that you need to explore some options. Maybe you're in a situation you need to start looking at leaving, right? And so be curious, start to transform some of that trepidation into tenacity,
Well, and that's an interesting point. Here's something that we've noticed in all the studying that we've done and so forth, and I'm sure you'll notice this as well, is there are people out there who are seemingly more successful, they've accomplished more, they've done more, but they're not as talented as you are. Maybe they don't seem as smart as you are, or what have you. And the truth is they have just gone for it. They have accessed the state of courage, confidence. I mean, there's so many people who we've seen, or me personally, that I go, oh my gosh, the only thing that the reason why they're where they are is their sheer confidence, their tenacity. They're not better than anybody. They're not, there's nothing so incredibly unique about what they're teaching. All it is
put it out
sheer
there.
Confidence. And that was true in the music industry as well. When in that industry, that was one of my challenges, and still is to a certain degree, because I've been blessed and you've been blessed to be around like super, like the real deal. And then there's the other people who are, like they're there.
In life, attitude. Yeah.
Yeah, but meaning that there's some people who are just mavericks, like Tony Robbins, right? So working with Tony, I mean, there really isn't anybody like, well, there's nobody like any of us, but Tony has definitely created something that is like, he's fathered this whole industry. Hanging out with him, that becomes your standard. You're like, oh my gosh, right? So then you start like kind of thinking you've got to be as good as Tony and as perfect as Tony and as bright as Tony and all of that. Well, it's not comparison. But then you see somebody coming up who hasn't got the 30 years of that, and seemingly out of nowhere, they're, kind of blowing up themselves. And you're like, what the, I could, it's the same. We do this. Well, what's the difference? They just had the courage to just go boom, right out there and throw themselves in there. And in the music industry, same thing. I'd hang out with these A-list musicians, these top level, like incredible musicians. And then I felt like, oh my gosh, compared to them, I'm like,
yeah. And they didn't really have courage to have confidence. They had courage.
Yeah. Well, both.
And then the experience built the confidence,
right.
Because it wasn't the skills that built it. It was the courageousness. Oh, well, at least I have the balls to go for it.
Right.
At least I know I can show up. Right. Mm-hmm. Courage can never be underestimated. It's one of the most important things that we can master. We talked about that this weekend as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, sweetie, Ellie. Go ahead, you can check.
Okay.
Ellie, you want to come?
So anyone here need to access some courage today? What are some experiences that would be super valuable this week? Maybe there's something that you're ready to take on. Maybe there's something that you're ready to break through. And what would be awesome? Just accessing that energy, that fuel. And then who could you borrow it from? Who's already doing what it is you want to experience? And who could you connect with and just kind of really borrow from them that state, that emotion, because that's where you're going to get the fuel. It's really the beginning of that motivation also is that courage, that energy to push on through. And this would be a great time to start the week off with.
You know what I noticed too is like a lot of the time people that we work with tell us all the time that they didn't automatically start out having the reason they worked with us is because they didn't have that courage. They knew something, or they weren't so clear, but they knew kind of what they wanted to go for. And so they borrowed our belief, right? Like we have enough belief in you. Now, most of the people who come to watch us, we know, so we can say confident. But I have to tell you, even if we're just getting to know you, we already believe in you. We already know that you are capable of achieving everything that you want. It doesn't matter what naysayers say, and even if the naysayer is you, because we know that everybody's potential is the same, right? We're limitless, right? The only limits we put on are the ones we put on ourselves. And so people borrow our belief, right? And it's not bullshit belief. It's not like it's based on the reality of what you're made of, who you really are at your core, underneath it all. And sometimes we just need to be reminded of who we really are, because life has had us put all these layers on. Well, I'm this person and I'm that person, and maybe somebody else put their shit on you, or their stuff on you, and said, well, now you're this, you can't because you're this and that, and you put on layer after layer after layer.
It's interesting. We buy other people's crap beliefs rather than buy their good ones.
And so, but the reality is that, hey, we remember who you are, right? We know who you are. And it's just about you getting back to that same remembrance, uncovering the real true you, your truest nature. And if you knew your true potential and you knew the real nature of who you are, you would literally be there. You would be unstoppable. There is nothing else preventing you, okay, except the story. And so our goal is to continue to work with you over time, just to remind you who you are, not change you. Remove the stuff that's not you.
Help you transform yourself.
Just it's the butterfly, right? So it's already in there, everything you need. We don't like, oh, how do we make a caterpillar and turn it? It's already there. Your nature is already within you. We just help you release it. After I sobered up, one of the things I wanted to do was start my own business. Building the courage to make the initial move was so hard because I was so scared of failing, but now I have a successful business. Sometimes you just have to take the leap of faith and believe in yourself.
100%.
Amen, brother. That's awesome, Justin. I love that. What are you doing?
You want to get Ellie?
No, she doesn't want to today. That's
Okay.
fine. Yeah. So great. So that's our quick little chat this morning about how to cultivate some courage. Start to remember who you are, borrow somebody else's courage or belief in you if you need to surround yourself with somebody else. But what do you need to focus on this week? What's one feeling you want to cultivate? What's one state you want to cultivate, or one intention that you have for the week? Put it in the comments so that we can, let's have some accountability, right?
Yeah,
what are you
buddies.
doing this week, right? What is it? So write it right here. What are you grateful for this week? And what are 3 things that you want to make happen? And if you're bold enough, what state or intention are you going to hold that's going to carry you through this week? And we're going to work with that all week long. Okay?
All right.
All right.
We love you for
very
who you
much.
are and who you aren't.
Have a great day
Bye.
and a good week.